Hello and welcome back to Spit Yo-Yo Mafia's replay analysis. Today I have a game in a T-34 for you. T-34 does have some issues. For example, its aim time is garbage. The worst problem is DPM is rather trash. And the gun handling is so bad that I actually don't even use a rammer on this tank. I actually use vents, V-stabs, and optics. And the reason why I don't use rammer is because there's no point in having extra DPM when the DPM is already so shit that you're not buffing it by much. And then your gun handling is so shit that you might actually be better off just having vents instead of rammer. So I've actually been doing pretty well having it with vents on, using my damage is like 1600 or more, and it's really hard to do like 4 more shots of damage in this thing, to be honest. Like, it's not the penetration that's the issue, it's the gun handling, where your gun doesn't hit what you're aiming at. Your turret roof is really weak, so you want to constantly stay above your opponents. And tank destroyers, if they choose to use premium, can actually penetrate your cheeks as well. So there are multiple things you have to keep in mind when you're playing this tank. But going back to the battle, so we're on one of the worst maps ever, which is mines. Can guarantee you there's probably gonna be someone that pushes up here, so we do need to be aggressive. We need to come to this corner, and this building will prevent them from doing that. We do have the high ground, of course, and we're gonna use the high ground to our advantage. At least that's what I would do if I was playing T-34. This is a useless position. The reason why this is useless because you see we have TDs. TDs can literally defend this position on their own. You don't need to do that. So in my opinion, if you're not going to rush up the hill, let the TDs handle this and take this or this area. That's just what I do in general. But yeah, let's look at their team composition. So first thing we do is count how many heavies there are in this map, because that would tell you pretty much who's gonna come here or here. So you also need to look at their gun depression. So they have an email, IS-3A, this guy. So like a third of their team is heavy, so we can expect some significant resistance from this side. However, if I do rush over here and get hold down, literally none of them will be able to penetrate me because they won't see the top of my turret, right? And the email has terrible penetration, so he won't be able to pin through my turret that easily. So the only tank I would really be worried about then is the T-32. But if we get over there early, then we'll be shooting his hole rather than shooting him when he's hull down. So keep that in mind. You don't really have the gun handling shoot for weak spots, so do try to take advantage of your tank strengths. Then they have like 3 TDs. They're probably gonna be back here until you get here. That doesn't matter. Also, once you win this corner, I would recommend not pushing around. I would go win the hill. So come around here, take the hill, spot TDs already, so on and so forth. That's how I would win this side of the map. There's not much else to say about it. Some of their mediums are fast enough to push this way, so that's another reason why you don't just come over here, because sometimes mediums can get shots into you from over here. Same goes from this side. Like if mediums are going really fast, they can sometimes get shots into you over here. So a lot of people die trying to get this, and I'm like, dude, the hill is kind of not worth it anymore, because the TDs here, if they try to pop over and shoot, TDs will shoot them. And if they try to pop over and shoot, like if this side were to shoot from over here, these guys can shoot them. You can counter this stuff if you're paying attention. You're not safe just because you have the hill. This is like one of the few times just because you have the high ground doesn't mean much. I don't feel like the hill is worth dying for. A lot of people say the hill is worth it. I'm like, but there's so many ways to counter it. I don't think so. So, yeah, that pretty much sums it up, and let's get into the game.
Let's get this show on the road.
Also, do keep in mind that these are just my opinions. You know, my opinions are not set in stone. Other players have different opinions, so on and so forth. You know, that's the thing. Everyone has different play styles. Everyone has different things that they like. Most players don't like the mines map, and there's like multiple reasons why they don't like the mines maps. But there are positions where you know that are going to be useful. Some people say, you know, some good players will say the hill will win the game. I've had many games where the enemy took the hill, and then we just won the game anyway because we won everything else, and then just killed what was on the hill. Or they tried to shoot us from the hill, and we just fired back at them. them, right? Because if you're shooting us, we can shoot you. And most of the time, the tanks who take the hill don't have that much armor, so you can actually deal with them. Now, I have seen some crazy shit. Like I've seen a mouse go on the hill before. You know you lost the hill when you got a mouse on the hill, but yeah, it really depends on the game. So in my opinion, I never go hill because someone's gonna die. I guarantee you someone's gonna die for it. Is it worth dying for? Like, you could be that guy that dies there. I think I'd rather do something else, but I digress. Okay, the first thing we're going to notice is we don't have to deal with the Centurion over here. That's the good news for us. This tank doesn't have DPM, but does have good gun depression. He's probably going to come over here and look for shots on the hill, if I were to guess. So anyone coming up here should be aware that this guy's going to be looking this way. I feel like this Lorraine is going to die. First off, the tank profile of the Lorraine is very large and it doesn't have camo. So if there are like TDs and stuff looking this way, you're probably going to get shot if you're in the Lorraine. Don't come to the hill in tanks that don't have a low profile because you're going to get shot for it. Like, people aren't just going to let you take that for free generally. So this time the Lorraine got lucky. In my opinion, I would say the Lorraine got lucky to get up there without taking damage. So I would keep that in mind, that if you're in a very big tank, you're probably going to get shot for it. Okay, we see that the light tank is playing on this flank. It's very hard to play a light tank in this game. I would probably, if I was on their team, I'd probably come over here. If I'm on this side, I'm probably going to play this flank. Because you could get shots into the hill from here really early, and then maybe you might spot like TDs and stuff back here. That's what I would do. It's really hard to play light tanks here. Alright, the first thing you're going to notice is that Chrysler is very aggressive. This is good for us because this means that he's going to prevent them from moving forward. And then we can get over there and then we can go hold down as well. Alright, we got this is why this is dangerous. If you're gonna come over here, you need to take the shortest path possible. Meaning, you come up here with the heavies, and then you use these buildings. You don't go all the way back here because this is exposed, and you're gonna get shot for it. Apparently the Pershing also wants to use this position. Only one tank should realistically be using this position at a time. It's not really enough room for two tanks. And if you got two tanks over here, then like, what about the rest of the map, right? Also, this IS-3A is practically useless. You do have a weakness in your turret roof that people can penetrate. If I were him, I'd probably actually be aggressive over here because this tank doesn't have gun depression. You don't want tanks to be above you. So it's probably easier to just come over here, get in close, and start clipping people over here. Alright, there you see, this tank doesn't have really good armor, but you see I'm not driving straight on into it. I am slightly angled to give me a chance to bounce shots. So he came out kind of flat on. I took advantage of that. He probably thought he could just shoot this guy, but you know, we're not gonna let that happen. He's here too. That looked like it was heat. I don't know why you shot my tractor with heat. That was pretty stupid. I mean, it is what it is, but don't just take shots just because reasons, because then, especially in a tank like this, then you're ruining your DPM as you do that, and people will take advantage of the fact that you're reloading and they will hit you. Alright, here you see maybe I have a shot in the defender, but he's running away. But it doesn't matter because I'm mostly hold down here, so as long as I angle, I should be able to bounce something. I won't be able to bounce everything, but I can bounce something. Alright, here I'm like, I'm not going to fight you directly. There's the email here too. So I'm just going to bag up and then I'm going to let them push into me. And then by allowing them to push into me, then I'll get shots in that way. I'm also not too worried about these guys because the people on the hill are watching in this direction for them as well. You can see our T-28 is pushing up here, but we have a defender, which is a really strong tank. So all of the flanks are pretty much at a stalemate right now. Also, don't do this. Do not drive broadside out. So you notice how I'm just slightly angled. That's what you're supposed to do. If you drive out broadside, there's like two things that's gonna happen. One, you're gonna get shot inside and penetrated easily. Second, most fuel tanks and MRX are on the side of the tank, so don't do that. And that's exactly what I was talking about. You got MRX because he showed his side, so don't show the side of your tank, and that won't happen. I'll take that back because some tanks can be MRX from the top, like when I was playing my type was type 62 the other day. I got MRX because I got penetrated on top of my turret, so that was weird. That's the first time that's happened to me. Like I played like 20k games, so that was a really weird MRX, but those are pretty rare. Usually most MRX are in the side of the tank. Some of them are in the front, like the Object 140, so do keep in mind where your MRX is. It's pretty important. So some tanks you just don't want to take damage at all, and then other tanks just don't show your side and you'll be fine. And you're going to notice I'm going to be pretty aggressive here. This is the thing. You don't want to be passive. You want to keep firing your gun in situations where you can. If we take a look around us right now and look at the map, Centurion is being pretty aggressive here. Pantera is being aggressive as well. And they have a Scorpion back here supporting them. We look at this side. These guys are getting hella pressure right now. And we also have people on the hill putting on a shit ton of pressure that way. And if anyone's over here, they'd be spotted by our Pantera as well. So this is why we're able to be aggressive. We're paying attention to what's going on. This Pershing has way too much going on to really shoot at us, and so does he. So that's why we're able to just, ignore them and then just focus on them, right? Alright, so the other thing we're noticing is when they're firing. So we want to shoot them when they're reloading as well. Alright, so that defender wasn't looking at us that time. We took advantage of that and we shot him for it. And that's what I was saying. One of the good things about the T-34 is that it has very high penetration. So even heavily armored tanks like the Defender are pretty wary of us. We just don't have DPM, so you just have to whittle tanks down over time. Once again, he exposed his side way too much. He was way over angled, so we took advantage of that, and well, we just pinned him for that. I wouldn't be surprised if we got ammo rack from that as well. He tried to push up and shoot. In my opinion, that sometimes works. I'm reloading, but I do have allies here, so he probably doesn't want to take shots from my allies, right? So I just probably wouldn't have done that to begin with. I'd probably been more patient, in my opinion. Or better yet, I would come over here and I would just leave this. If I were them, I would leave this select TDs over here and I'll come try to fight this flank or something. And this guy's being pretty toxic. I don't know why. Oh, he's saying the defender is trying to shoot him and he doesn't have elevation. Well, it's not his fault, dude. You know how many tanks don't have elevation? It's crazy. Alright, here, I don't know why. And once again, he shot my track. I'm not sure what he's trying to shoot. Like, are you trying to shoot this? Because that's a very low chance of really hitting. And if you want to pin me, you need heat. But it's not. Once again, it's not really worth it. Because I'm a heavy tank. I likely have repairs. So I'm not going to be here for, forever, right? And this is what I was talking about. Don't just fire just because. Hold your shot until you're sure you're going to pin. Because by you holding your shot, they know that you can fire back. If you don't hold your shot, then yeah, there you go. It's a T-34. It's very bad DPM. You're firing about one shot every, 12 seconds. That's about it. This is pretty bad. But yeah, do hold your shots and make sure that, you put on pressure appropriately. Okay, so I took a hit. It's not too bad. I traded for that, but you know what? He already fired once, so I highly doubt he was reloaded there. He probably fired a second shot. Otherwise, he would have fired them both into me, right? Or something like that. But we're gonna start dealing with these heavy tanks. They're pretty much flanked at this point. They're taking shots from multiple angles, and they're not gonna last much longer. Also, the reason why the AMX is pointing his gun up there is to protect his cupola. If your tank has a large cupola, try to put your gun up so they'll hit your gun so your cupola and penetrating you. You might want the armorer perk, or I believe that's what it's called, which makes your gun more accurate when it's been damaged. Or you can just repair it. Either way, use your repair kits, smartly. You don't need to always use it for tracks. There are other reasons to use repair kits. The easiest way to get around that is just to not let people shoot your tracks. I mean, and penetrate you. Usually people don't just shoot your tracks unless they can penetrate you at the same time. So if you don't give them that, then you should be good. And you see here, I'm waiting for my ally to fire before I pull out. Don't pull out in front of people's guns. That's pretty stupid. And then keep in mind that they're the ones taking the hits too. So let them have some courtesy, some etiquette, and let them shoot first, right? Also, that's a good way to piss people off. And you piss people off, that generally tends to not go well. So don't do that. Alright, and at this point you can see most of them are dead, most of us are alive. This game is pretty much going to be over. But, yeah, I think I actually will stop here because this game is actually over. You can see we have way too many tanks. But, this gives you an idea how to play this map in a heavy tank, especially like the T-34 if you're, well, technically we're kind of top tier, but it just gives you an idea what to do. You also got an idea of how to play like the Chrysler and the AMX. You saw what they were doing as well on that flank, and also you got, if you go back and watch this video, you can see how they're pushing in as well. This is also how you would route enemies out who are over here. So everyone, in my opinion, played well. These guys stayed alive on this flank and kept these guys busy. We took the hill, so we didn't have to worry about that, and then we're just gonna flex around and finish everything else off. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, do subscribe to my channel, please. I am streaming almost daily now, so you can check out my Twitch channel. That'll be in the description below. So once again, appreciate you watching, and have a nice day.